So there's salam going to you, specifically coming from Niger, Africa. MashaAllah, from Gambia. We have people from...
the Gambia, Sheikh.
Huh?
You can't say Gambia, you have to say the Gambia.
The Gambia, radiallahu ank. We have people, mashallah, from Europe, from Asia, from Hyderabad, India again, mashallah. From all over the place, they're saying salam to all of you. May Allah bless you, Rabbil Alameen. So I'm grouping some of the questions that came actually to me, inshallah ta'ala, here. Some people, they're still asking about the whole concept of Al-Qadr. Would come to Al-Qadr. How come you said that if it's, like for example, changing about the Qadr for the future, if it's already been written, such as marrying somebody, so why can't I just make that dua, I mean, and keep doing with it?
So, subhanAllah, the Qadr is written in different ways. And actually, I'm going to give a specific example to the last 10 nights, inshallah, because it's very important. There's the Qadr of al-Lawh al-Mahfuz. Allah Azza wa Jal has written what is, what would have been, what would be, what will become. Everything. Past, present, future, because Allah's knowledge is all-encompassing. Allah is not subjected to your past, present, future. So Lawh al-Mahfuz takes into consideration all the contingencies and things that happened and what would have been your qadr and then what ends up becoming your qadr because of a dua that you made or a different path that you take. Now, all of the other writings, there's the writing in the womb before you're even born. And then the greatest writing of qadr that exists after the writing in the womb is the writing on Laylatul Qadr for the next year to come. Now here's the thing, of all of the writings that have happened, this is the first time that there is a connection between your dua and the writing. Meaning in these 10 nights, in one of these 10 nights, everything that's going to happen in the next year is going to come down from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the angels and be written in your qadr for the next year. And this is the first time that your dua matches with this night. Okay? Meaning as you grow up, the first Laylatul Qadr that you have, right? So your dua can change the direction of Qadr. It can change the writings outside of al-Lawh al-Mahfuz. Al-Lawh al-Mahfuz will have the change already recorded, right? So it's still your choice, your dua, your deed that changes the way that it goes. But at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to undo the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and what has already been encompassed in regards to your faith.
A quick question here. Many people are asking about this. When is it time to realize, you know what, this is it, I need to stop making that dua? I could be making this dua over and over again, and it not seems to be happening. So is there any expiration moment or date, let's say, on that dua?
No, go ahead.
Sheikh has an entire series, mashallah, called Why Me? And mashallah, Sheikh, may Allah bless you for the beautiful series. But a lot of these, and mashallah, Sheikh, may Allah bless you for the beautiful series. But a lot of these questions of Qadr are also answered there. Imam Ghazali rahimahullah mentions that in regards to, as we could say, as a negative connotation, being stubborn, but in a positive, what Sheikh was mentioning earlier was ilha, which is to be persistent in a dua. He says if a dua has to do with khilqa, meaning if it has to do with me, like I'm like 6'6" right now, right, Sheikh? Right.
That's what you believe.
But for example, if someone is 5'11", and they keep asking Allah, make me 6'6", make me 6'6", make me 6'6", this is being stubborn in a dua because that can't change. There's no way that at this age that you can grow 7-8 inches. This is something to do with your physical state. And if it has to do with something that in regards to the other aspects of this world, so it could be rizq, it could be gifted with children, it could be a certain job. In those regards, we continue asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the moment it becomes too difficult for us, we understand كُلٌّ مُيَسَّرٌ لِمَا خُلِقَ لَهُ. This perhaps was not going to be better for me. So then I redirect my dua towards something else. Those are a few simple remarks.
I'd say, I'd add to that, Jazakallah khair, it's a good distinction. The ulama also distinguish between du'as for things that are always good, which is like du'a for tawbah, du'a for guidance, du'a for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to open up something in regards to the hereafter, in regards to a virtue that you want to attain, a new act of worship. Like, you can't say, Allahumma innaka afuwan tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni enough, right? You should be very stubborn with this du'a and keep making that du'a, right? And have husn adhan in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, have a good assumption of Allah that He will forgive you as you continue to make that du'a. But you can't ask Allah for guidance enough, you can't ask Allah for sincerity enough. These are the du'as that you never stop making, right? You always make these du'as. Then one of the other distinctions that the ulama mentioned, which a very good distinction that you just mentioned, which is khilqa versus in talab, things that are sort of inherent versus things that are have a variable to them, is not to get so specific and insist on the specific. right? So the general is sometimes better than the specific in Islam, right? And the ulama do mention that sometimes when you get so tied to the specific thing that you're asking Allah for, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Because if the specific doesn't happen, you're going to question the entire process in the first place. And that's not the way this is supposed to work. So how many times do you make istikhara? The ulama do differ, by the way, about istikhara. There's plenty of discussion. Allah knows best. My opinion, Shaykh, I'm not sure if you share the same opinion on this, is that istikhara can be made over and over again for the same thing. Some ulama mention that you make it once and that's it for that particular thing. And I believe the majority of scholars say that you can make it multiple times for the same thing. The beauty of istikhara is that when it comes to al-talab of this dunya, when it comes to asking Allah for something of this dunya, is that you are putting the outcome entirely in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you are satisfied with the dua being made from your part. And that's why the istikhara was taught like Quran, it was taught like the seerah, it was taught like so diligently to those generations, because you're really relinquishing the specifics then to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that way you won't be displeased.
So